Let me tell you about a man who spent 18 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. And when he finally got out, the world he believed in was completely gone. His Yakuza family had been dissolved, the boss he idolized had apparently ordered his own murder, and he had nothing. No money, no home, no answers. Just a bat, a Dragon Quest obsession, and a burning desire to understand why. That man is Ichiban Kasuga. And in 2026, after Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, after Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, after all of it, I went back and played the game that started it all, Yakuza Like a Dragon. And honestly, it might be the most important JRPG of the last decade, and nobody talks about it the right way. So, buckle up. We're going deep today. Like a Dragon, known in Japan as Ryuga Gachaku 7, is the seventh mainline entry in the legendary Yakuza franchise made by Ryuga Gachaku Studio at Sega. Released in 2020, it did something absolutely terrifying. It replaced everything that made Yakuza Yakuza. Gone was Kazuma Kiryu, the stoic dragon of Dojima who'd carried the series for over a decade. Gone was the real-time brawling combat. Gone was Kamurocho as the primary setting. Instead, we got a new guy, a new city, and a turn-based RPG system. Fans were furious before release. The internet was convinced Sega had lost the plot. They hadn't. This game is a masterpiece, and I'll prove it. Here's the setup. Ichiban Kasuga is a low-ranking grunt in the Arakawa family, a subsidiary of the Tojo clan. He's a nobody who adores his boss, Masumi Arakawa, like a father figure. When a member from a rival family gets killed, Ichiban does the one thing a loyal soldier does. He takes the fall, pleads guilty, goes to prison for 18 years. Fast forward to 2019, Ichiban walks out of Mutsukoru prison, ready to reunite with the man he sacrificed everything for. And what does Arakawa do? He shoots him and dumps him in a trash can in Yokohama. From that brutal betrayal, Like a Dragon becomes a story about a man rebuilding himself from absolute zero. He wakes up homeless in a city he doesn't know, surrounded by people society has thrown away. A disgraced nurse, a burned-out cop, an ex-Yakuza living in shame. These become his party, his crew, his nakama. What follows is a 15-chapter epic involving the Tojo clan's dissolution, a shadowy political conspiracy, 3 criminal factions controlling Yokohama's underworld, the Japanese Seiryu clan, the Korean Gyomi jewel, and the Chinese Liu Meng, and a final act that genuinely will make you cry. This story has one of the most earned emotional payoffs in gaming. The writing understands something rare, that the most interesting protagonist isn't the strongest man in a room, it's the most human one. Ichiban is loud, goofy, dense sometimes, but he has an enormous heart. Where Kiryu always kept people at arm's length, Ichiban lets everyone in. He literally cannot help it. He wins over enemies through sheer charisma, passion, and stubbornness. One important note though, this game rewards you heavily if you have some knowledge of previous Yakuza games. The back half of the story leans into series lore hard. If you're a newcomer, you'll still follow along, but you'll be missing emotional gut punches that veteran fans feel in their bones. So if you haven't played Yakuza 0 yet, what are you doing with your life? Here's the part everyone thought would ruin the game. Turn-based combat in a Yakuza title. And look, I get the skepticism. The series was famous for its satisfying, kinetic, real-time brawling. You're running through the streets, some guy bumps into you wrong, and suddenly you're launching him into a bicycle. That's Yakuza. But here's the genius of Like a Dragon. It keeps that feeling while completely changing the system. Ichiban is a Dragon Quest fanatic. He literally visualizes every fight as if it's an RPG, so in his mind, a gang of homeless guys becomes a party of goblins. A salaryman with a briefcase is a mid-level boss. The turn-based combat is the game acknowledging its own protagonist's delusion, and it's brilliant. Now, the combat itself, you control a party of up to 4 characters, each with different job classes. Ichiban is a hero. He wields a bat and deals raw damage. Your party can be a bodyguard, a hostess, a chef, a musician. Every job has unique skills and upgrade trees, and characters can switch jobs at the in-game job center, called Hello Work. It's an actual unemployment office. That's the vibe. What makes the system shine is that fights happen in the real world, on city streets, and the environment is alive. Cars drive through mid-battle. Discarded bicycles and traffic cones are lying around. Hit an enemy into those objects and you get bonus damage. If an enemy wanders behind another enemy during your wind-up animation, you might hit both. This makes every fight feel dynamic and grounded, even though it's turn-based. Active timing mechanics reward button presses during attacks for extra damage, and if an ally is nearby when you attack, they might jump in for a follow-up strike automatically. Is it perfect? No. The game has a notorious difficulty wall in its final third, especially around the true final Millennium Tower endgame content. The Kasuga dies, game over mechanic can feel brutal when you haven't adequately leveled. Some skills feel redundant early on, but by the end, when you've stacked the right jobs, unlocked powerful pound mates, basically summonables you can call in battle, and found your rhythm, the combat clicks in a way few JRPGs ever achieve. The world of Like a Dragon is set primarily in Izesaki Ijincho, a fictionalized version of a real district in Yokohama, Japan's second largest city. And compared to the beloved but compact Kamurocho from previous games, Ijincho is massive. The developers themselves put the two maps side by side. Yokohama is dramatically larger. But size doesn't mean anything without soul, and Ijincho has soul for days. You've got a buzzing Chinatown with restaurants and gambling dens, a red light district where the Seiryu clan operates, a Koreatown, a commercial district with mom and pop shops along the Sakura River, and even a hidden underground dungeon beneath the city that opens up later in the game. The city is based on a real place. The port, the park, the train stations, and the level of detail RGG Studio put into it is staggering. Walking through Ijincho feels like being in a living, breathing Japanese city. Visually, the game runs on RGG's Dragon Engine, the same engine that powered Yakuza 6. Character models, particularly for the main cast, are exceptional, with cinematic facial animations during cutscenes that genuinely convey emotion. Lighting in particular is excellent, with the neon glow of Jincho's streets at night being some of the most atmospheric visuals in the series. On PS5 and PC at high settings, this game still looks impressive in 2026. It's not photorealistic, but the art direction is so confident and consistent that it doesn't need to be. It looks exactly how it's supposed to look. Yakuza games live and die by their side content, and Like a Dragon doesn't disappoint. You've got 2 full arcades, one rundown spot with playable versions of Virtua Fighter 2, Fantasy Zone, and Outrun, and Club Sega in Chinatown with Virtua Fighter 5 and Super Hang-On. There are go-kart races, literally called Dragon Kart, that play like a full Mario Kart ripoff. There's a karaoke minigame with legitimately good original songs. Movie theaters, business management mode where you built up a company from scratch, darts, batting cages, mahjong, hidden gambling halls, a full Pokemon-style monster collection system. The substories, side missions, are often the heart of the game. One minute you're helping a teenager deal with family pressure. The next, you're involved in an absurd conspiracy involving a chicken who's been employed as a shop manager. This tonal whiplash between sincere drama and absolute chaos is the Yakuza series' signature, and Like a Dragon leans into it harder than ever. One standout feature is the personality stat system. Ichiban's passion, confidence, charisma, kindness, intellect, and style all grow through dialogue choices, activities, and completing certain tasks. It feels very persona adjacent, and it rewards you for engaging with the world rather than just rushing the main story. So, it's 2026. We've had infinite wealth, we've had a pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, there's even a live-action Amazon Prime series now. The Like a Dragon franchise is bigger than it's ever been. Does the original still hold up? Should you play Yakuza Like a Dragon? Yes, unquestionably yes. Here's the thing. Infinite Wealth is the better game mechanically. It smoothed out the rough edges of the combat, improved positioning, added more strategy. But Like a Dragon is the better origin story, the emotional core of Ichiban's journey, going from nothing to something, building a family out of society's rejects, confronting betrayal and still choosing forgiveness hits differently than anything that came after it. It is also the perfect entry point for new players. You don't need to know Kiryu's history to love Ichiban's story. You just need about 50 to 60 hours and the willingness to go on a very weird, very sincere, very Japanese adventure. The weaknesses are real, some pacing issues in the middle chapters, the steep difficulty spike in the final third, and the story does heavily reference past games in its last act. But none of these are deal breakers. Yakuza Like a Dragon is a game about people who were thrown away by the world and chose to stand up anyway. It's about friendship, about second chances, about the kind of loyalty that doesn't come with conditions. It made me want to be a better person. That sounds dramatic, but it's true.